Hey, I'm so glad you're here. My name is Andrew, and I'm so excited to start working with you. I know that starting therapy can feel a little uncertain, even uncomfortable. So I just wanted to kind of walk you through some of what this process will look like and make sure that it feels like a good fit for you. The approach that we're going to be using is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT for short. I'm sure you've heard of it, but I want to kind of explain it a little bit. So it's based on this pretty simple idea that our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, our actions, they're all kind of connected, constantly influencing each other. So whether we realize it or not, our thoughts affect our feelings, that affect our actions, and kind of creates this reactive pattern that we create. And so let me kind of put this into more of an example, right? So if someone has a thought like, I'm a failure, I can't handle this, that thought can lead to feeling discouraged, anxious, overwhelmed, which might lead someone to start overthinking, avoiding situations, shutting down, react in a way that they normally wouldn't. And over time, that cycle just keeps on repeating itself and getting stronger. So what we do in CBT is we kind of slow that process down, right? We start paying attention to what actually is going on in those moments, especially those thoughts, right? That's where it starts. So those thoughts, they kind of start happening in the background, and then we'll begin to question them by asking things like, is that thought true? What evidence do I have for or against this thought? Is there a more helpful way to look at this situation? And over time, we start to shift how you feel and how you respond. You see, the reason why we use CBT is it's often because it's been studied so much and shown to be really effective because it handles things like anxiety, depression, stress, and even things like anger or low self worth. And many people see meaningful improvements because the process slows down and looks at it differently, right? So, as we work together, we'll look at a few different areas of your experience are all connected, including your thoughts, your emotions, your mood, your behaviors. What are things you do? What do you avoid? What are your physical reactions? Does that look like tension, sleep, energy levels? And then we want to look at your environment. What's happening around you? What's happening in your relationship? Because the way you interact with all of these things really makes everything interact with each other. So those thoughts, those feelings, those environments, that all kind of plays a part. So if something stressful happens in your environment, your mind might immediately go to a thought like, this is too much. I'm going to mess this up, which can lead to anxiety. Your body might respond with things like a racing heart or tightness, or you might avoid the situation or pull back. So, what we'll do together is start identifying those patterns. We'll start gently working on changing the thoughts, those behaviors in a way that helps everything to start to shift. So, our sessions, they're going to have a little bit of a structure. So what we'll do is we'll still be a little bit flexible to meet your needs. But at the beginning of each session, we'll create a quick agenda together and decide kind of what feels most important to focus on. We'll check in on how things have been going since the last session and talk through any of those challenges or situations that have come up. And then we'll spend some majority of the time working and identifying some specific tools or strategies that you can actually use in everyday life. So it's not just talking, but really learning and practicing those skills that carry over to the outside space. Which brings me to a really important part of CBT is that there's going to be things that I'm going to ask you to do outside of session, right? You didn't come in here, you didn't come to therapy and say, "Hey, fix me," or "Hey, I want to talk about this so that you can do better in here." We want to do it out there, right? And so I'm going to have you do some things like writing your thoughts down, noticing some patterns, trying out different responses, practicing a coping skill. The goal isn't perfection, but just practice, building awareness, because real change, it's going to happen outside of session. It's going to happen when you're actually applying these tools in real life. This is a very collaborative process, which means we're working together. I'm not here to tell you what to do or judge you, but instead support you, challenge you when you need it, because we all need some challenges. But I'm really wanting to help you better understand yourself, what's going on beneath the surface. And over time, the goal is for you to build enough confidence and skills that you don't need therapy in the same way because you're able to recognize those patterns and work through them on your own. We'll get to a place and a pace that feels right for you. You'll always have a say in what we focus on and how we approach things. So, with all of that, I know that was a lot. What questions do you have, or is there anything you'd like me to explain a little bit more or go deeper on?